Interest rates are going up. People just aren't buying. So where is the opportunity? What's happening? I spoke at an event recently, guys, and I pulled the room and I said, hey, who in here is scared? Nobody raised their hand. Then I said, who here is skeptical, a little nervous, maybe a little excited? And some people raised their hand. And I said, who here is excited? And the whole room raised their hand for these times. Here's the thing. If they're excited, why aren't they buying? Why is there crickets? Why, when a deal comes out, people treat it like it's the plague? See, here's the thing. There's a lot of people in real estate who say they've been waiting for a crash, but they don't have a strategy. They don't have a direction they're going to go. And so my question for you is, do you know what you're going to do? Do you know that through this market crash or this market correction, what direction you're going to take and what your strategy that you're going to implement is going to look like? That's what we're going to talk about on this episode here on Forge to Win. So guys, my name is Ronald Walker. I'm your host. If you find this content valuable, please subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Like it. I've also got a website. You can go to ronaldwalker.com. I got a free course there. I'm putting this stuff together so you can have the tools to feel comfortable, to feel secure in even a market shift or when the market booms, that you can feel confident in a skill specifically in real estate. And today I want to dive into this market crash. Like, what is implementing a strategy through a market correction or a market crash or even a slowdown? What does that look like? We all know interest rates are going up. At this time, last I looked to refinance, interest rates were 8.5%, and they're just going up. They're going to 10%. They're going to probably 12%. I don't know, but I do know they're going up, and they haven't announced that they're stopping yet. We all hope that they will, but they haven't. So this depresses prices. Buyers slow down and back away. So what do you do? What does strategy look like? Two things, guys, that I want you to think about. In this time, I want you to ask yourself, what in your planning, where are you playing? What's your field? What asset class are you looking at? Where are you playing? Okay. Where's the game for you? Is it wholesale? Is it single family? Is it multifamily? Is it storage? Is it massive commercial? Is it less? Like, where's the game for you? And then the next question you have to ask is, how do you win? How do you win your game? Right? And what does winning look like for you? What does that look like? And if you can ask these two questions, it's the essence of strategy. What game are you playing? And how are you going to win? And what does that look like for you? Because if you can pull this together, you can take the steps to accomplishing your goal and doing what we all hope to accomplish in a market crash, which is create massive wealth. So what is the first thing that you need to do through a downturn, no matter how far it goes, whether it's just a recession, whether it's a massive crash, whether it takes a year to recover or 3 years to recover? What's the step number one you have to worry about and you have to put together on your journey of figuring out how to win? Okay, how to win. Step number one, guys, is surviving. You have to survive through the tightening. When things start tightening, people get out of the business. They don't get out of the business because there's opportunity. They get out of the business because the business dries up, right? We got to start with the bad news. The business begins to dry up, okay? So the first thing that we have to do is we have to start with the end in mind. What is the end? What is the strategy that gets us money through this time? How are you getting through that path? Where's the end? And then back it up to the beginning so you can walk down that ideal path so you have a road that you're following. Okay? You want to be able to follow a road to the goal. You know, I got really overwhelmed about 2 years ago. I had just moved up to Michigan. I was getting to know a new market, and I was trying to figure out this new area, right? I was in Dallas, Texas. I knew Dallas, Fort Worth, Mesquite, Garland, all like the back of my hand. I could comp a property. I could figure out the values. I moved up here, and I felt lost. So I started meeting people. I started doing a little bit of marketing here. I started doing a little bit there. And you know what happened? For me, I started putting a little bit of time in a lot of different areas, and I was so busy, but I wasn't starting with the end in mind and figuring out my path. I was just maybe a little this, maybe a little that, maybe a little this, maybe a little that. Let me buy a whole bunch of education. Let me learn a little bit more. Let me go here. And I didn't have a path to revenue. Once I sat down and I isolated, I literally was sitting down in our rental upstairs. I had a room that was our office. It was a 3-bedroom. I pulled one room off as my office. I'm sitting in that room and I had to devise a strategy to win. And I had to sit down and I had to get clear on that path. So today, how do you do that? What are some things that you need to be focused on for figuring out that path? Here's a couple of things, especially if you're in the wholesale game, if you're in the owner finance game, if you're looking at creative financing, if you're looking at single family deals today. Here's some things to think about, okay? What is the exit? And I want you to tighten the box, okay? And so what do I mean? The exit is, what is the strategies to make money and get rid of a deal? How are you going to get rid of it? And what is the box of types of properties you're looking for? And I want you to tighten that box. I want you to get rigorous about your underwriting, about your analysis, about understanding this deal and why it is profitable. Why is it profitable? Where's the money to be made? And what does that look like? So you need to ask yourself, especially you wholesalers out there, okay? And if you're not wholesaling and you want to buy and hold, this is good for you to know too. So you want to ask yourself, who is buying in this market? Figure out who those people are. Because I promise you, if they're buying in this market, they're confident. And you want to know why they're confident, and you want to know why they are moving forward. Because that underlying reason will give you hope, and it'll give you something to look at and say, okay, they're doing this, and devise your strategy. And if you're wholesaling or you want to partner, you can bring deals to them and you guys can make money together. Okay. You can make money together and you can do some creative things. You can get your assignment fee paid on monthly installments. If the guy's going to hold it as a rental, maybe you work out, hey, give me a little bit up front and then just pay me a monthly over time. If you guys didn't know that, you can do that. You can negotiate your deals and you can negotiate your profits. Number 2, what are they buying? What specifically? What does the house look like? What do the terms look like? What is the location? Like, what is all this look like? Are they buying 3s? Are they buying 4s? Are they buying bricks? Are they buying a certain style of house? Are they buying in certain locations? Here's the thing. Buyers can start to get a little bit more picky, right? Because things pull back. They want to buy and hold for a while. They might have some cash and they can decide what they want to buy and hold. So the question is, what are they buying? Number 3, where are they buying it? Is it in a rural area? Is it in a certain spot in your city, right? Is it in a certain spot in Detroit or the outer Detroit suburbs? Is it, in your city? What does that look like? Is it Airbnbs? Is it on the beach? Where are they buying? Are they buying virtually or locally, right? Are they using other people's money? What does that look like? If you can figure that out, that'll give you a key. And number 4 is, what prices are they buying at today? And today changes, right? 6 months from now, what prices are they buying at today? And ask yourself that. And that's going to start informing you on the trends, not these YouTube videos, not these education platforms, real life people buying deals, right? In your market, where you're located. Figure out what they're buying, figure out what their price is, figure out what their box is, and what it means for them to move forward with a deal and put their own money into it. Because if you can figure that out, you have a massive key to the game, guys. A key to wealth creation, a key to getting revenue and surviving as things go down, right? Because it's all cycles. As it goes down, it tightens and people get pushed out of the business. Why? Because there is no business for them, but not for you. Not for you, because you're going to be prepared. I know you are. You're going to study after this. You're not just going to watch this video. You're going to study after this, okay, guys? And you're going to look, and I've got some more videos on here that you guys can check out. Go to some of the other ones that are specifically geared to strengthening who you are for this market. Check them out. Here's the next thing. You want to generate to surviving. You want to generate more revenue, and you want to cut as many unnecessary expenses as possible. Revenue wins. The more revenue you can get, the more you're going to be able to sustain yourself. People go out of business because they run out of cash. They run out of cash. And here's the next thing. Cash is king while you're surviving. You need it. You need it to operate. You need it to market. You need it to buy deals. You need cash in order to win. And so during survival, you want to stockpile your cash. You do not want to let it go quickly. You want to make sure that everything you put your cash in is very, very, very important. And here's another thing. I'm going to say something a little bit controversial here is, guys, don't buy major real estate deals that you're not familiar with. Okay. You might be thinking about, man, I want to go into storage units. I think it would be awesome to buy. Well, you know what? We're in a market decline. And if you don't know what you're doing, you could buy an asset that ends up being a headache for you for 3 years as the price decreases. The question is, do you want that? No, you don't. You don't want the stress. You don't want the headache of something that's going to suck your resources. So avoid all major real estate deals, guys. Major deals that you are not familiar with the strategy. Avoid it, right? People are going to try to get those deals. People are going to try to bring you. They're going to avoid it if you're not familiar. If you're familiar, you have a strategy and you know how to make money from it, go for it, right? Go for it all day. But avoid major deals that you're not familiar with. It is a easy way to get burned and to still think that, things are as good as yesterday, and you buy it today and you realize you got to write it down. That's a recipe for disaster. And if there's one thing you want to do, you don't want to lose money. There's one thing, just don't lose money, especially on big deals like that. I know what it's like. All right. I got caught with a property I purchased. It was on a slab, and the code department came out. We were doing it. We dug underneath and there was no footing. And now it's like, what do we do? Like, there's no footing. What does that look like? It's a major expense, and it became a money pit, right? And we're still working through that deal even now. What happens is, if you make a bad decision, it can haunt you. It'll suck your cash and your resources, which is going to help you survive. Don't do that. Know exactly what you're buying and why you're buying it. Here's the other thing. As things get tighter and tighter and tighter, lending is going to get harder and harder and harder to get. Money is more expensive than it's been in years. Getting qualified is getting harder and harder and harder, and will continue to get harder. So the question is, do you have lending sources, right? Not just your own cash, but people who will lend to you. Go and find those sources and get multiple of them. Get 10, get 15, because one person might drop out. They might be like, man, the election scares me. I need to pull back, right? Now, your job is, if you can provide a good return and capitalize, you might be able to provide some comfort and show them how their money is going to make money no matter what the economy does, if you know how to do that. However, get out there and find multiple sources of lending, because you don't want a great deal to come up that you've been preparing for. You can't buy it because you can't get financing. You don't want that to happen. What if that deal, if you were to buy it today and sell it in 4 years, what if that deal can make you 75, 100 grand, but you have to pass up on it because you don't have the resources? Guys, we don't want to be in scenarios like that, right? We don't want to be in scenarios like that. We want to be in scenarios where we have options even through the hard times. So work on that. Work on those options through the hard times. I promise you, it will pay off if you put in the work now. So the next things you want to work on, guys, while you're in this survival mode on the downswing, here's where you want to focus. So we talked about, what is the exit strategy, tighten the box, getting to know who the buyers are in the area. We talked about generating revenue, cash, survival, not doing major deals. This is what I want you to focus on. Okay. I want you to focus on sharpening your acquisition of property process. Sharpen the way you talk to sellers. Get more precise. Get a script down. Know what the system looks like. Know what the sellers want. Figure out the common objections from listening to them and then coming up with responses that you can answer them and give them certainty. Okay. They buy emotionally and they're already fearful. So give them certainty. Okay. Push them in the direction that's good for them and good for you. So sharpen your acquisition process, whether it's you buying or your team. Go through your team. And if you got 10 guys, let go of the bottom dude. Let go of the bottom 2 guys if they're not doing very well. Sharpen your top 8. Okay. If you are out there trying to do it, learn, read books, buy programs, sharpen yourself so your process is better and better. I want you guys to go out there and sharpen your acquisition process. Number 2, get organized, right? Organize your business, organize your desk, organize your files, make it easy to make offers. The other thing is, if you guys haven't done it, organize your finances. What does your bank account look like? What do your books look like? Organize all that. The more you're organized, the more opportunity you'll be able to put together. Do you have a package for lenders? Put it together, make it organized, and make it easy for them to invest with you. Do you know what you're offering? Make it easy. Break it down into 2 things or 3 things. And if you can do that, you guys will be able to communicate in a way that's clear, and you'll be able to communicate in a way that gives your person you're talking to certainty, because you have the confidence. If you're not confident, you're not going to be able to talk confidently. And so I want you guys to be able to get organized in your business, finances, projects, processes, programs. Focus on it and get organized. 3, if you cut expenses, do not cut marketing. Don't cut marketing. You're cutting your feet out from under you. Even if it costs more to get a deal. Look, guys, keep marketing consistent. I'm even going to encourage you to increase your marketing. Increase that marketing, because it's going to take more opportunities in front of you to do a deal. It's going to cost more to get a deal done, but you need to increase marketing. And I know this is difficult because marketing is one of the biggest expenses, especially for those who are direct to seller. But increase the marketing. If you can't pay more money, increase the output. Call more people. If you talk to 40 people a day, it's now time to talk to 50, boys. If you called 50 a day, it's now time to talk to 60. Okay? And the reason why is it's getting harder and harder and harder. And that's why you want to look at what needs to happen, and you need to do more. If you were working 8 hours, it's time to work 10. If you were working 10, it's time to work 12. And I know this is not the feel good message, but guys, this is about surviving through a down. And if you can get through it, if you have the cash, you put in the time, you put in the effort, and you get through it, the opportunity on the way back is massive. That's where the wealth happens, but you got to go through the hard times. And this is how you do it. All right. And then the last thing is, guys, this is a time for self-improvement, for recreating yourself, for education. Okay. A free resource for you guys. I want you guys, everyone, to go out. This is a book by a guy I love, Patrick Bet-David. It's one he wrote. It's called Doing the Impossible. It's all dirty up here, so I apologize. Doing the Impossible. 25 laws for doing the impossible. Go out there. It teaches you how to recreate yourself, how to come out strong, how to prepare for hard times. You know, there's a saying that says strong men create good times create weak men create bad times, and bad times create strong men, right? Now we're in times that are going to create strong men. So are you going to be a strong man or woman who steps up and performs? Because I think you can be. And in the real estate industry, we're going to need that more than ever. People who are leaders. People are leaders. And the way you do that is you sharpen yourself. If you're going to spend money on anything, spend money on knowledge, spend money on skills, spend time on skills, buy courses, buy books, buy whatever you can to add nuggets to your system. So that way you can grow and you can rise to the occasion and survive during this market crash, during this market recession, whatever this is in front of us, you will be able to survive because you're doing things right. You are asking yourself, where am I playing? and you're saying, how do I win? And part of winning is surviving. That's step number one. Number two is recognizing opportunities. Okay. I got this hat. I actually got multiple of them, and it says, the future looks bright. It's from the same guy who wrote that book. And one of the things that I love about this is long term. If you have long term thinking, if you're making long term good decisions, you will win. It's the people who are short term, right? The market crash is short term. It could be a year, it could be 2 years, it could be 2.5. But if you're looking here, you're not going to make the long term decisions that are going to get you through this time. So I want you to start thinking long term. If you could have a short term burst, but it's a long term detriment, don't take it. I know it's tempting, but instead, long term thinking, because the people who are thinking long term will win. Everything is good long term. Look at the charts. Go back to 1929 and look at what's happened long term. Long term, everything's okay. And so no matter how hard it gets, no matter how much things hurt, no matter how much work you're putting in, long term, the future looks bright. So remember, as you're recognizing opportunities, you want to think long term. As you're looking at deals, though, as you're going through and you're figuring out these deals and you're figuring out what they're going to look at, I got 4 things for you: location, fear, cash flow, and control. So you want to buy things in locations, right? People have said real estate is location, location, location. There's certain locations that are going to be hot no matter what. There's markets that are going to tank, and there's certain properties in those markets that are going to do well. Figure out the locations that do really well. Figure out what other people are buying and focus there. Focus where the location is strong and where people want to buy. Number 2 is fear. Here's the thing. Fear, if you can learn, and I'm going to say something that's not very popular here, if you can learn how to monetize fear in a crash, you win. If you can monetize fear, you win. Think of the media. Everyone's eyeballs are there because they're afraid. What's going on? What's going on? Oh my gosh. Oh my. They spend so much attention, right? Attention is the new currency, basically. If you can monetize fear, then you can win. So as people are talking and as people are a little bit, uncertain, reach out to them. How can I help? What problems do you have? Where are you looking at? If you can rise up and say, hey, what are they afraid of? And you can bring security to that. You can bring comfort. You can bring value. Guys, you will win. You'll set yourself up to be in a great spot. Cash flow is the next thing. Look for opportunities with cash flow, because reoccurring money, it keeps paying you, right? The property might be 70,000 equity, but if it's got cash flow, that's all you care about. If it's got negative 30,000 equity, what do you care if it's still cash flowing, right? And you're going to hold it long term and you're in a good position. Look for things with cash flow. Number 4, control. And this time, if you can control, but you don't have to own, guys, controlling without owning, it puts you in a great position. If you can control and then cash flow, because of maybe someone doesn't want to deal with it. Maybe they're not strong. Maybe they got arrogant. Maybe they're freaking out, right? You can control it. You can reposition it and you can cash flow from it. This is a great opportunity to win, is by grabbing control, giving them certainty, and maximizing opportunity for yourself. It is amazing. And this is part of recognizing opportunities, guys. As you're looking, look for location, look for people who are afraid that you can bring certainty to, look for cash flow, and look for control. Because if you can control, you can win. If you can control deals, you can win. You don't have to own them. You can just control them and profit from it. If you haven't watched my video on the 4 ways to buy properties with no money, this is what I'm talking about. Go watch that video after this one. Check it out. All right. Stay to the end and I'll point you to it. And I'm also going to give you something really awesome if you guys stay to the end. All right. The next thing to look for, all right, and to recognize is people with talent. Here's the thing. Not everyone's going to keep their people. People are going to be scared. Look for people with talent that you can trust in, that you can work with. those people are going to be looking to partner up with other awesome people who are sharpening themselves. Give them an opportunity. If you give them an opportunity, you can partner up with another dude who's got talent. There's going to be more and more of those people. You can create a partnership that will last a lifetime. And you might be the next amazing partnership that we'll hear about. If there's a book called Working Together, Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, Bill Gates and his partner, Steve Jobs and Wozniak, right? There's all kinds of partnerships. There's great people out there. And so look for them during the downturn because they're going to get squeezed too. All right. Last thing, I mentioned this before, but watch what the big players are doing, not what they're saying. This is key, guys. A lot of people will say things in order to put people in a place where they are in a better position. Okay. I want you to watch what the big players are doing. Look at what they're doing and then replicate what they're doing. Okay. If you can figure out what they're doing and then replicate it and not just what they're saying, then you'll position yourself better. You'll recognize the opportunity because you're recognizing the opportunity that they might be recognizing. If they're figuring out how to monetize, how are they monetizing and how can you replicate that? If they're making money, how can you replicate that? Right? You don't want to steal what they're doing, but you do want to model them. Success leaves clues. Model success. Some dude's making a bunch of money doing a certain thing. Model what he's doing. Literally take that copy and change it into your own form, but keep the model the same. Keep the frame the same and just change the color a little bit and model it. Picasso said, great artists steal, right? Great artists steal. And that's what that looks like. What does their model look like? And take their model and apply it to what you're doing. And then, guys, the biggest opportunity that I see is being a leader through this time. Learning how to be a leader, sitting down with your team, sitting down with your family and saying, all right, guys, and casting vision. Whatever that is for you, cast the vision. Sit down and cast the vision through the time. That vision might need to be 2.5 years. It might be 2.5 years that we're dealing with this. It might be 3 years. It might only be a year. But cast a vision. And remember, long-term always wins. Long-term always wins. And number 3, when the opportunity fits for you, when you recognize it and you see it, don't hesitate. Pull the trigger right now. When the opportunity fits, pull the trigger. That might sound counterintuitive, but when it fits, pull the trigger and make it happen. Be certain. Be a leader. Make the action. Call the play. Pull it off. Because the people who pull it off, the people who are urgent and run out there and do it, they win. If you guys are doing major real estate deals or you're plugging away and you're thinking, man, when should I jump in? When should I do it? Look at the market as it comes down and then it comes back up about 10%. And it looks like there's a bump, 10, 15%. When you see that, jump back in. You don't need the bottom. You don't need the bottom. Wait till you bounce the bottom. Bounce off the bottom and on the way up, then jump back in. Bounce the bottom and then jump back in. When you're watching the charts, when it bounces up 10, 15%, jump back in. That's what you guys are looking for. But when you recognize the opportunity, do not hesitate. Guys, high cash flow, high cash is where you will win. If you can generate those opportunities and you can maximize them and you can keep cash and you have funds available from private lenders and multiple lenders, when the floodgates open with opportunities, you'll be able to pick the ones that you want from tightening your box. Real estate is amazing and you can always make money in this business. The question is, are you prepared? Or are you going to let fear paralyze you and put you out of the game? Don't do it. It's going to get hard. You need to sharpen yourself. You need to figure out how to win. But you can do that. So guys, thank you for waiting to the end. If you go down in the comments below, you'll see a link to my website, okay? On my website, I created a course that walks you through how to make $17,000 in 30 days. It's 100% completely free. Okay. I want you guys to go down there. I want you to go to my website and I want you to check it out. Okay. Because if you're already nervous about this time, just one deal a month, let's say it, one deal a month, connecting with the right buyer, finding the seller, doing one deal a month or one deal every other month at 8 grand, 15 grand, 20 grand, what would that do for you? Would it give you that certainty? And you can do it in a way that if you're willing to put in the work, you can win. So go to the website, check it out. It's completely free. There's a whole bunch of free resources there, including PDFs on how to talk to sellers and how to sharpen yourself. And if you want more, reach out to me. Reach out to me and let's figure out how we can launch you to that next level to be prepared. I would love to help. I would love to help. So until next time, guys, peace.